Chapter 3, Chemical Reactions and Cellular Respiration. Pretty straightforward stuff. When it comes to chemical reactions, we're going to be talking about, obviously, a vast number of chemical reactions at various different locales throughout the entire semester. So this is going to be the basic building blocks for the magic behind all of those chemical reactions. This is hopefully a rehash and a review of some classes that you've already had to get in here, so not a whole amount of heavy lifting here. At least I hope so. I've discovered, though, in the past, I'm going to go really fast, and sometimes you may not have all the information from the prereq classes into this, so if for some reason something sounds weird, unfamiliar, just pop a question in the chat box or waiting afterwards and ask, okay? I'd rather you ask and ask questions now than wander in the dark for this first exam, all right? So when it comes to this chapter and its importance, it's important because literally every single physiological mechanism requires energy. And we get that through a number of different things. And nutrition class, which I just came from, really talks about how we get that energy, those kilocalories, those calories, those units of energy to get into us, where we get our food from, to provide us with that energy so we can contract muscles to move around, pump blood, heart, absorb nutrients, the digestive tract, gas exchange within the lungs, the respiratory system, respiratory gases, gas exchange within the capillary beds, synthesizing new molecules to make structures, establishing ion concentration gradients. These are going to be necessary to get impulses to move from the brain down to your biceps muscle to flex, all right? All of these things require energy. So that's why this building block chapter is going to be so important in helping us to make that ATP. When it comes to energy, energy is just the capacity to do work, and it's just a definition of it, right? We have two types of energy, potential and kinetic. We can subdivide it, I know, a buttload of times, but kinetic energy is this energy of motion, energy of doing stuff, okay? Potential energy is just that stored energy in a chemical bond, or stored as glycogen, stored as fat, okay? That we can pull it out, break down those bonds, and get that big yield of energy to help us establish concentration gradients, okay? Which is what you're seeing right here. Okay. Establishing this concentration gradient. So we can pump stuff across sodium ions and potassium ions, and we can do some fabulous things and some fabulous work in it. When we harvest this energy is going to be in the form of the bonds. In those bonds are electrons, and that's what that's showing right there. Those are the orbits that you're seeing right there. And as we take this electron that holds a lot of potential energy in it, we can pass it through various different electron carriers found within a plasma membrane. And we can pump hydrogen ions across that plasma membrane because of those things. And that's the basis for cellular respiration. By doing that, I can create a concentration gradient by pumping across hydrogen ions, getting them all on one side, and then harvesting those little suckers to help make the ATP that we're so coveting to do all of this work throughout the body. And your body needs a lot of energy. There are a ton of physiological processes that are happening right now as you just sit there and stare at the screen, okay? Just to do that requires a lot of energy. Start writing, and that's more energy that you're consuming because muscles are engaging. Exercise, even more energy is needed. Even more movements occurring there. So this thing for energy is going to be a very necessary evil here. This is what we're looking at right here pretty much today in terms of this. And even in terms of that, I mean, obviously glucose is going to be our major molecule for energy source. Glucose, carbs, lipids, triglycerides, hell, even proteins, if you're starving, all can carry that potential energy in it, have that chemical energy within them. We can break those things down and provide us with all of those units of ATP that we so need and desire. But from a cellular respiration standpoint, we're primarily just going to be talking about glucose because that's glucose's primary function. Fat does a number of things besides providing energy. You could throw fat in here as well, but we're just not going to, I don't believe. Different forms of kinetic energy. Electrical energy, we'll talk about that when we talk about the nervous system, when we talk about the muscular system. Mechanical energy, obviously with the skeletal system and the muscular system. We'll be talking about those. We'll be talking about sound energy when it comes to hearing and special senses. We'll talk about radiant energy, which is sight. So we'll be talking about the sense of sight and how we convert that electromagnetic waves into something that we can actually physically see and describe. And then heat. I mean, heat's given off in everything. Heat is a byproduct of cellular respiration. Heat's going to help to maintain some temperatures within the body as well. So it's going to do a number of fun things for us. And this just shows you the electromagnetic spectrum. It's just there to impress you. I'm not going to ask any questions from it.